that, let's play this clip of Donald Trump talking about, he's being questioned about Whitaker. And so Whitaker, there is a statute that says that in the absence of a secretary cabinet, a cabinet secretary, or someone at that level like the attorney general, that you can put in a temporary acting person who is not confirmed by the Senate. But people are concerned about this because there's also the opportunity to put people in who have been confirmed by the Senate for other positions, other cabinet secretary level positions, and they could shift over. So there are questions about Whitaker, and of course the questions really have to do with Whitaker not being particularly vetted. He was the chief of staff for Jeff Sessions. He was a former U.S. attorney, however, which is worth something. And but the guy has gone on television for the past couple of years and said, there shouldn't be, that the investigation is unwarranted and whatnot. And he also said, in defense of, and we'll play this a little bit later, in defense of Jeff Sessions, that you can't have the appearance of conflict. And that's why Sessions recused himself. But here is Donald Trump, extremely defensive about Whitaker, reaching for just about anything he could.
Matt Whitaker has not gone through a Senate process.
Yeah, but neither has Mueller. Excuse me.
Pause it for 1 second. So the question is, Whitaker hasn't gone through a Senate process to be in the leadership of the Department of Justice. And so Donald Trump basically does the I'm rubber, you're glue. What you say to me, what you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
Yeah, but neither has Mueller. Excuse me. You talk about the Senate process. Mueller is doing a report. He hasn't gone through the Senate process. So you're saying Whitaker hasn't, but Whitaker has. Wait a minute. Because he was a really distinguished U.S. attorney in Iowa, and he was approved by everybody, because to be U.S. attorney, that's top of the line. He was a highly respected, in fact, I'll tell you, the ambassador to China, as you know, Terry Branstad, who used to be the governor of Iowa,
Trivia.
He told me that what a great choice that is, that he is one of the most respected people in all of Iowa. And that was coming from Terry Branstad, who was the governor. Look, Mueller, a big complaint people have, Mueller was not Senate confirmed. So he's doing a report. He wasn't Senate confirmed. Whitaker was Senate confirmed, and now he doesn't need this, but he was Senate confirmed at the highest level when he was the U.S. attorney from Iowa. But
guys,
Mueller was not Senate confirmed. Why didn't they get him Senate confirmed? He should have been Senate confirmed. Because of all the conflicts, they didn't want to bring him before the Senate because he's very conflicted.
I'm the one that cares
because
about
of those
Senate.
conflicts, they didn't want to bring him before the Senate. But don't tell me about Whitaker. Don't tell me about Whitaker because Mueller was not Senate confirmed.
guys,
Okay.
let's confirm this at the highest level. What do you say we don't just do a regular confirm on this? I'm going highest level confirm for Whitaker.
Let's just, before we even address how Donald Trump is so uptight about this, we should tell you that Mueller was a U.S. attorney. So he was confirmed by the Senate for U.S. attorney.
Not at the highest level.
Mueller was also the FBI director. He was confirmed by the Senate as FBI director. Mueller also was the FBI director beyond his term. And the Senate had to basically reconfirm him or give him a waiver to be that guy.
They wanted to see if he could do better. They did it as a favor to his wife.
Being an independent counsel beyond being confirmed as which is a U.S. senator, special counsel, U.S. attorney essentially, which he had been confirmed for, is what he needs to be confirmed for. He was confirmed exactly for the position that he has.
You know what I really resent about Donald Trump?
But that, of course, is irrelevant anyways.
Well, not if you were confirmed at the highest level. Maybe you'd think that
By
would
all
be
the
you.
best people.
And Terry
He
Branstad didn't say great things about you either.
He's one of the
frankly,
most
Sam.
respected people in all of Iowa, okay?
Yeah, I really resent the fact that, like, first of all, that Robert Mueller and James Comey are, like, subject to conversation. And secondly, that it's all relative to, like, hey, Donald Trump's criminal machinations are running up against these guys versus, hey, they built careers on terrorizing Muslims.
Right.
And, like, entrapping people and expanding the national security state. So that's another thing that I resent Donald Trump for.
Yeah, I mean, all this is true about Mueller, but you can hold both of those.
Well, I do
notions
every
in-
day.
Right.
I mean, it's sort of like, I mean, it's very analogous to the press. There's all sorts of problems with quote unquote mainstream corporate media, sensationalist, profit motive, corporate driven. And Donald Trump is an authoritarian who's trying to like destroy media. And so we need to be aligned with Jim Acosta. I mean, we're gonna have to hold a lot of cognitive dissonance in today's world.
I would
right?
also say that the percentage of people who have that opinion of the media and express it on shows like ours, and I obviously I have a lot of issues with the corporate media and have had for 15 years.
No, you don't.
All of those people, us included, use the resources from that media
Oh, of course.
every single
Well,
day.
that's another really important distinction, right? No,
Right,
that's
but-
a huge.
Like, how can you criticize corporate media when you're quoting the AP all the time? That's where you get all your news because you're not a reporting outfit.
Well, I mean, very simply.
I mean,
by doing that.
but
and
I'm
also, especially with like the New York Times. I mean, I have problems with some New York Times reporting, particularly like in the Middle East, with how they frame stories. But I'm also able to distinguish, like, and you know, Maggie
that's what I'm saying.
Haberman is
People
trash.
do this all the time.
Yeah, people do this all the time, and also it's
people
easy
are able to
just-
hold both of these
Yeah.
things in the same time.
I think that
so criticizing people for going out and protesting when Sessions gets fired, because that necessarily means they're supportive of Jeff Sessions, this horribly racist, corrupt, in my opinion, DOJ head, is absurd.
Although
we can
I
hold
do-
two notions at the same time.
Well, we should, and I think we usually do. I actually think there's a real diminishing capacity for most people to hold two opposing notions in their head at the same time, which is a bigger problem.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
humanity is devolving.